this movement that you are combining forces with many other people to start, which is to expose women and girls to more sports, whether that be to participate in, whether that be to view, whether that be to watch. I am very cognizant of the fact that I teach my daughter every day to be strong and to stand up for herself and to advocate for herself, especially in roomfuls of boys and men. I need to be just as cognizant of that for my son. And I need to teach my son how to have healthy relationships with strong women like his mother and his sister. So let's talk a little bit more about this initiative, this movement that you're starting. Who are you working with, and what are your overall goals?
So I love that you've referred to it as a movement. It did actually start as an idea for a campaign, and I thought, no, this isn't a campaign. This is actually our reason for being. And so we're starting a movement in partnership with pretty much any sports related, tangential, or women related organizations right now in Northeast Ohio, but we want to go national with it to increase women watching sports, either in person or on TV, playing sports, and just being active. So, this is something that is very close to, for instance, what Play Gap Sports does. Play Gap
Yes.
Sports connects women, adult women, with the sports that are right for them to play. And I want they're certainly one of the organizations that we continuously talk to, and that I hope will be part of this movement. But I want to dig deeper into getting more people, more women to watch sports. And one of the things that inspired, there were actually a number of things that inspired that portion of it. So my friend Ann Hartnett actually recently, so she's the owner of Harness Cycle, which is one of the places. It's a cycling studio in Ohio City, but it's one of the places that really taught me the importance of movement and how much it improved my life and my connection with other people. But she's in general a really inspiring person because she's a really smart business person. So she is currently developing her business into real estate development, and so she's grown from a studio owner into a building owner, and building beyond that. But she's one of those people who's always kind of shown that when you get competition, or you get pressure back, that like you get stronger by figuring out how to push through it. And
Mm.
she recently, on the Guardians' run from being 15 games back to to winning the division, she said, "I love when sports remind us that anything is possible, even when the odds have counted you out."
Oh,
And
yes, yes, yes. I love that.
and it was such a beautiful quote that I thought, I was just talking about parity in sports, but that, like that comment is why I think it's important for women to embrace that power of sports too. And we often talk about stats like 94% of women in the C-suite played sports. And I think that too often we think, oh, it's that they're on teams, or like these things. Certainly that's part of it. But I think that we often see, I think oftentimes we'll be really critical. Especially there's that stat that's like, an incredible percentage of men believe they would be able to land an airliner.
Yeah.
But I think part of that is, we often talk about like that difference between like men's confidence and women's. And I think that there's certainly a lot that we can learn from each other. But I think of a friend of mine too. She's an amazing athlete. She's a thoracic surgeon. A few years ago, we were talking about the way men apply for jobs again versus women, and how women need to check every box and be overqualified. And she was looking at a job. What was her dream job? It was to be, section chief at a certain university. And she was like, I'm a good 5 years out from this job. And we had recently talked about someone we knew who was a man who applied for a job who was that was a good 10 years beyond where he was, but he applied for it and made it to the final rounds of the interviews. And it was, he was able to demonstrate, like, I may not be there yet, but like I can learn along the way. And so we talked about that, and she was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to apply for a job like a man. And she did. She ended up getting it. Um, and they said, we know that there are things you need to learn. And it wasn't on the surgery side, but they said, we believe in you. We see you in this role. And to develop you leadership wise, like, we'll invest in you. And had she never looked at it in that way, that we were like out running and joking about it. And she was like, no, I want to do that. And that's where it's like, I think that, like, the little quote from Anne, that, if even when the odds are against you, to like believe, like, to at least try to do it. When the Guardians were down 15 games, they evidently didn't. I mean, granted, the Tigers helped by by not winning a lot, but they obviously didn't say, "Ah, well, next year." They stayed with it, and I think that that's something that you get in sports that you don't get in most other places, and I think that it's one of those things that we don't often let women believe.